Hello everyone, my name is Kirill, you're on the AutoAdviser channel. Today we will talk about a gasoline injector. To begin with, let's see how it looks. We have a magic box in which there is a gasoline injector. Here is what she looked like. The fuel injector belongs to the injection system and is directly responsible for the metered supply of fuel to the combustion chamber or intake manifold, as well as the formation of the fuel-air mixture. In this case I have an electromagnetic nozzle. Why electromagnetic? Because it is controlled by electricity. There is a connector for connecting an electrical wire. When electrical voltage is applied, the nozzle opens and sprays fuel. When there is no signal, the nozzle is closed. Also in this place a pipe is connected with fuel, and in this place the fuel is sprayed into the combustion chamber or intake manifold. And now, for a better understanding, let's look at a diagram of how a gasoline injector works. Inside the nozzle there is a so-called needle. It is very similar to a real needle, such a cylindrical body which ends with a cylinder cap. This needle is spring-loaded with a special spring. All this design is located directly in the nozzle body, red, which I will now draw. Fuel is supplied at the top of the nozzle, here, through this hole and at the initial moment of time. When the needle is pressed down by the spring, the fuel don't flow anywhere further. Because the hole is closed, the passage is closed. Also inside the nozzle there is a winding. I will draw it in black. This winding is connected to the wires and the engine control system. Through this plug, when voltage is applied to the winding, the black winding creates a magnetic field. And the magnetic field draws into itself, that is, in this case upwards, this blue needle. Power was supplied and the needle went up. That is, the funcus rises higher and the fuel from the side already flows under them and enters the gravity. And it flows further down, and here under high pressure it is sprayed into the combustion chamber. Once again, the structural elements, the blue needle, which is spring-loaded by a spring. When voltage is applied to the black winding, the winding creates a magnetic field, the needle rises, and fuel is already flowing under it, which goes down and is already sprayed here with such a torch. During operation, the injector tends to become closed. Inside it are very narrow channels. The injectors are very small in diameter. The causes of clogging can be poor quality fuel as well as the formation of soot. Here on the side of the injector with which it contacts directly with the combustion chamber. It can also fail due to the fact that it has been exploded for a very long time and its time has simply come. This is obvious. Gasoline injectors are recommended to be flushed about once every 100,000 km, and the replacement of nozzles produced approximately from 150 or 200,000 milli. Let's look at how the nozzle behaves when it is faulty and when it becomes dirty and slowly fails. The first is when the nozzle is in closed state, that is, no electrical signal is applied to it, but it still flows. That is where the fuel flows. Here you can see a nozzle. These are size, there are 6 of them. Small holes that are responsible for the formation of a torch. Here is fed in the nozzle and from the side it is sprayed. Second, these injector channels that I showed you earlier are closed. Here we have 6 of them, by the way, and uneven fill sparing ox. That is, this torch is cone-shaped, which should be ideal. It will be somehow uneven or point. It should be understood that the injector during its operation very often opens and closes. That is, it supplies fuel in such a cyclical way. Therefore, at such high frequencies there is a thermal function. When the injector sticks a little and doesn't give out the required amount of fuel. Now we have examined the technical malfunction of the injector itself. Let's see how the car will behave. That will be the symptoms when driving when the injector is out of order. It delivers the wrong amount of fuel to the cylinder, and that is the cylinder that will produce phenomenal power. That is, the power that is not calculated according to those passports. The main symptoms of a malfunctioning injector include irregular operation of the engine, a decrease in power and checks, increase in fuel consumption. All these symptoms can be described as follows. For the engine to work properly, each cylinder must produce a certain amount of power, but since if the injector disrupts the fuel supply, then the cylinder power can be increased or reduced. Therefore, the overall operation of the engine is disrupted. Some may think that increasing the power of one cylinder is good, but in fact it will cause an imbalance in the operation of the entire engine. But it's important to note that these symptoms can also apply to other engine failures. Therefore, not every motorist will be able to say for sure that these are injectors. Of course, you can try to determine whether the nozzle is really out of order, but it is better to turn to the professional. Can you clean the injector yourself? If you're convinced that this is exactly the injector, then some offer to rinse them yourself. There are many methods for how to flush the injector, but the principle is the same. You prepare some kind of solution and rinse the injector with it. Well, if you flush in garage conditions, then there may be one very important nuance. You will not be able to check the performance of the injector under dynamic load. That is, when the injector operates at a high frequency, of course, it may seem that it sprays beautifully, that it seems to have been cleaned, but you will not see how a torch is formed at high purity. The operation of this injector, and this is the injector, may not produce the required fuel flow. Therefore, I am firmly convinced that in that case it is better to contact specialists at special service stations, where they stand for washing and diagnosing injectors. But as they say, the best treatment is prevention. So let's look at a couple of good methods. The first and simplest is the addition of the fuel additives that specifically flush the injector. Well, the second way is to let the engine run at high speeds, that is, to increase the pressure in the combustion chamber in order for the injector to be clean. Well, if it so happens that the nozzle is for replacement, then be sure to visit our website. The link will be in the description. My name is Kirill, this is the AutoAdviser channel. Be sure to like, ask your questions, and all the best to you, and see you soon.